Om Shri Sairam. So, welcome back to the second session. Welcome back to the second session of our learning of the poem A Tiger in the Zoo, written by Leslie Norris. We have listened to this poem two times. And now we are going to discuss about the poem. We are going to delve in little detail about the significance of certain things there. Because poem learning has a systematic way of approach. You should think creatively, and it's not like we have to teach you word by word, because creative thinking is what is expected here. So, but we are going to definitely elicit some answers from you. We read this poem already, so you can just have a look at this. He stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long green grass, near the water hole where plump deer pass. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws terrorizing the village. And it goes on. Now, our interest is the review of questions which we had put last time. What is this poem talking about? The tiger in the zoo as contrasted with the tiger in the jungle. And many of you have responded to me over the WhatsApp, and I was very happy to note these answers. Evidently, many of you have thought about it. There are two situations which are presented here in this poem. One is a tiger is in the zoo, and a tiger is in the jungle. So, which of these paragraphs refer to the tiger in the zoo and the tiger in the jungle? If we just go back once. He stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. And many of you are very correct in saying that this is the situation of a tiger being in the cage. Because see, pads of velvet quiet, it means he is walking on some kind of artificially made, some kind of a living thing there, made for easy for it to live. And quiet rage, he is unable to do anything because he is confined within the the domain of that, maybe a zoo or anything, and therefore he has to simply just walk to and fro. So this is definitely that of the tiger in the zoo. He should be lurking in shadow. Now, very first word, many students in fact they have thought and about this, and they have given this answer. I was very, very happy to see that they have come out with beautiful answers. This second paragraph, he says, he should be lurking in the shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole. That means actually tigers should be, they are meant to be in outside jungle. So this is a tiger in the jungle. Similarly, he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge and baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. So it's very obvious that this is also a situation in the village. Similarly, you see the fourth paragraph. He is locked in a concrete cell. The poet suddenly says, but, and he shows his sadness, but he is locked in a concrete cell. That is the zoo, behind the bars. And how is the tiger? The tiger is very angry because of this. Why? About 10 to 12 students have given these answers. Because the tiger doesn't have the freedom. And really, I was so happy to see the thinking of the students, because one of the questions which I have put here is, what is the poem glorifying? About a dozen students have said the poet is glorifying the tiger. Of course, the tiger he is glorifying, no doubt, all animals are great. But what is it that is being glorified actually? The answer is hidden in these three words. He is locked in a concrete cell, and therefore freedom is what is being glorified. Anyway, I am a little early in coming to that question. And then his strength behind the bars. He is actually confined to that, and he is forced to keep quiet. And tiger's natural attitude is to pounce, is to run, is to chase. And we are not allowing that to happen. Therefore, his strength behind the bars, stalking the length of his cage, and therefore being frustrated, there's no other way. The only thing that he can do is go move to and fro in the cage, ignoring visitors. Look at the heroic way of expression. And then the last paragraph, he hears the last voice at night. So evidently this is in the zoo, and the last voice before sleeping at night, probably he hears the last voice. What is that voice? Patrolling cars. Patrolling cars. He hears the last voice. And what is a patrolling car? Some students have given very nice answers, and I was really wonderstruck at that. Anyway, coming straight to the answer, patrolling cars, the police or other such people who are patrolling the cars, the people who might have come there to see the zoo, and what does he do? There's no other way. He just, with his brilliant eyes, he watches the brilliant stars. Well, that's a wonderful poem. It makes us fall in love with the tiger. I'm sure you echo the same sentiments. And let me come to the next question. So this is all the poem talking about. The poem, both are talking about the tiger in two situations. One is in the zoo, one is in the jungle. And is the poem glorifying anything? We already know that. He is glorifying freedom, and freedom of all animals, freedom of all beings. Identify the rhyming scheme and rhyming words. And rhyming scheme, this is quite an easy question. Cage, rage, grass, pass, edge, village, bars, visitors. Now here you may say, sir, it's bars or is it visitors? So you have to pronounce in such a way that it appears rhyming. Bars, visitors. When you pronounce it, that also becomes lyrical. Cars and stars. And then the next question which I had put, which are the imageries pictured by the poet? For example, if you see the poem, he stalks in his vivid stripes a few steps of his cage. These lines generally trigger off the normal imagination. But there is one expression which is very, very ornamental, which is very rich, and that is, he should be lurking in shadow. Just imagine, this line is so beautiful. You see the shadow of the tiger, you infer that the tiger is coming. So this is an image, a beautiful image presented by the poet. And sliding through long grass, the grasses are there and he is stealthily moving underneath and without being seen. So it's a beautiful image presented by the poet. So this kind of images, there are other imageries, but they are all of not that attractive. They are not. Let's come to the next question. Does the poem find a parallel to a human being? If so, give an example. Well, many students have given a lot of answers, and they have also said Gandhiji, this, that, but I was surprised to see that nobody had given this answer. And Nelson Mandela, very rightly, he resembles this situation because he was put in jail for 30 long years. And Nelson Mandela is a champion of, that freedom struggle in South Africa, the apartheid movement, the freedom for the blacks, because Britishers were ruling South Africa, and apartheid, discrimination against the blacks by the whites, was practiced for long years. And it was during 1990s when this freedom bore the fruit, and Nelson Mandela came out and he was released. And in fact, a beautiful film shows he was also like a tiger caged inside, and he was restless and he wanted to make his country free. So just as we have in India Bhagat Singh or Chandrasekhar Azad, he was one such great freedom fighter, Nelson Mandela, a tiger among men. And we are going to read that very chapter after this. In fact, this whole poem is like a introduction for that chapter, Nelson Mandela's chapter, a beautiful prose chapter. So Nelson Mandela. Identify the figures of speech or poetic devices like simile, metaphor. Well, I think there are many students have given various answers, but you can confirm all those answers with this. Personification, alliteration, it is vivid velvet. So ver sound is repeating here, that is called alliteration, ver, vivid velvet. Water where, is repeating. This is v. In phonetics, v, v, and this pronunciation of this sound is w. Water where. So w. So many places such and strength stalking visitors. Sir is repeated at 3 places. And here's last voice, again sir is there. Here's voice, sir sound is repeated. And similarly, cars, stairs, eyes, stars. So everywhere sir sound is repeated. So this poem is replete with I think alliterations. Finally, coming to the final assignment which I would like to give it to you is that you have to watch this beautiful video, Caught in the Act. A thrilling video. If you watch this video, your love for animals will increase 1,000-fold. And the way they have caught all these pictures is really fantastic. Compose your own poem using a simple rhyming scheme. Try composing. First you have the rhyming words for yourself, and then add some words, and also have some meter for that poem. All poems will follow a meter for the poem composition, because the length of the poem, the length of the lines of the poem should be adjusted in a very nice way so that it becomes lyrical or musical when you recite it. Otherwise, for example, he says, he stalks in his vivid stripe the few steps of his cage. If I remove one word there, it will not be musical. Or on pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. If you just remove 1 or 2 words, that effect will not be felt. So meter is very important. So you can't keep on writing a bigger line and then next. You have to follow some kind of uniform meter for composing a poem with rhyming words. And then, so try composing it. It could be wrong in the beginning. But of course, for composing a poem, first you should feel. So first you fall in love with the tigers at least. And then we can proceed gradually. And do a project work on the tiger species. What is that? Some kind of project work like PowerPoint presentation, and go to internet, find out about the remaining number of tigers in the world and how they are being protected, and do a PowerPoint presentation, and in a chart also make a chart wherein you can stick pictures of various tigers and white tigers and its claws, fangs, and the use of tiger, why the tigers are getting depleted nowadays, what is the ulterior motive of people who actually hunt tigers, and they destroy the species. So a beautiful project work, and please send it through the group which we have given you. And then write an essay on freedom, the ultimate love of all. Freedom, the ultimate love, the love of all. Because freedom throbs in the heart of the universe. It is freedom that everyone wants. Everyone wants to be free. Especially we know this in the present scenario, because we are all locked down for many, many days. We know how desperate we are all to come out in the open, and it is all the more for animals. Therefore, being human beings, we should never curb that freedom on any living beings whatsoever. So with this, I leave you with this. If it has triggered off, if it has kindled the spark of love for poetry, which will bring hope to the hopeless, which will infuse that courage in life, in the face of adversity, it will infuse courage. And if it has sparked or triggered off that love for poetry, I think the job is done. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.